Hello, and thank you for joining us on today's episode of Blue Collar American. I've got Paul Griffin here with me today.
How you doing?
And I'm Aaron Ford. Thanks for joining us. Well, before we get started into anything, let's go ahead and crack open a beer because both of us have had a hard week, and
It's been a rough couple of days.
to loosen the tensions in our brains, maybe we'll.
Yeah, before the show, we were trying to pick out which beer we were going to have, and we said, well, maybe this one, but no, it's a little too big. Maybe this one's a little too small, and then we decided, yeah, if we need another one, we'll just grab another one.
I'll just say, I'll be right back.
Yeah, right. And then I'll have to take over
Hold
for a
the
while.
show.
You're right. So, anyway, you want to introduce it?
Yeah, I don't know anything about this beer, but this was, as we mentioned in previous episodes, part of the payment process from the Beer Fest. And so this one is a Northwest IPA.
Okay.
So I do know that there is a difference between New England IPAs, Northwest, West Coast, East Coast, and so there's lots of different naming variations to all these different kinds of IPAs. But this is a Northwest. This is from a company called Old Town, and this one happens to be 6.8 ABV and 1 pint. It looks as if they're from Portland.
Okay.
And it's an American style.
So do you know if is that like the label that's on that can? Is that their label, or is it just one that they?
The paper label came from the Beer Fest, so that it's part of their naming convention. I won't say the number or anything like that, just because it's part of their numbering system for their judging processes. It's actually quite an interesting process. I was served as what's called a steward, which means prepping.
Interesting terminology.
Yeah, you're prepping beer for the judges, and it's all based on a numbering system. And we serve small amounts. We'll let that settle for 1 second, just because there's a lot of foam on that one. Probably a temperature change with the glass, and that's why I brought a paper towel.
There you go. There you go. That's all right.
That one decided to overflow.
I'm digging the mason jars today.
Yeah, we'll change it up a little bit, get away from a pint glass. Man, these are really just...
That's a good sign, though. We'll see what... I'm excited.
Hopefully all that just opens up lots of flavor there.
I can smell it, right? I can smell it from here, so...
Good.
Yeah, so there's... Okay. All right.
Well, we're still trying to crack that there. In the meantime, anything interesting happening this week for you?
Well, a couple of things. I told you so. Okay, so there's the good, the bad, and the ugly for me this week. so the good. Well, let's start off with. Okay, no, we'll start off with good. So the good is I've went back to the gym, started working out this week.
Nice.
And I haven't really told my story too much yet. I had some health problems last year. I kind of touched on it. Some heart issues, I had some health problems. Not like everybody thinks, it's not like normal heart attack stuff. And everybody will ask me, they're like, oh, did you have open heart surgery? Did you get some stents put in? Did you have some valves replaced? Did you have some bypasses? And none of that.
And the other question that everybody asks is related to the timing of your incident and what was going on globally, i.e. a certain
that's right.
pandemic.
I was close. I was close. I almost let it out.
As to whether or not there were fallout or incidences related to either having caught the
virus,
there's
a lot of
or
people
an injection, but none of the above.
And the thing is so there's a lot of heart failure going around. Is it complete coincidence? I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of heart failure going around with people that have never had any issues ever with anything like that. I'm one of them, right? Because I didn't have any issues like that with heart failure or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, something like that happens to me, and it makes you wonder. I didn't take. So I guess I don't know how deep we can go into this. I didn't take the stick. Mm-hmm. I didn't, for the certain things that were going on in the world. And so lots of people are like, oh, you didn't do that, huh? Because lots of people will, they think that they think that might have something to do with the heart failure rates. I personally think that the illness itself and the stick, if you will, I don't know, the jab, I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably a key word now. I don't know. I don't know why we have to, it's so hard because I mean, why do you have to pussyfoot around with what you say? You know,
I agree.
But you do because we don't want to get taken down as fast as we get started. So, but anyway, lots of people are equating the actual illness itself with heart failure, just like a lot of people are equating the jab with heart failure itself. I did get the illness about a year before, and then last year came around and I got sick again. Not necessarily with that, I don't think. In fact, I was tested for it. They said it was negative. But it was still an upper chest respiratory thing. Turned into pneumonia, made me sick. I was down for about a month. I fought it. You know, me and doctors. And finally, I started not being able to walk and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have a choice now. I'm probably gonna die or something. So I went in, and sure enough, I was pretty close to dying. I ended up in the hospital for a long time. And before that, I was very active. I was going to the gym. Good diet. I mean, I lost a lot of weight, and I was doing good. And so it's been a long time coming. But anyway, so that's the good this week. I'm getting back to working out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so I'm a little sore today, because I went my first time last night. The bad is work. I mean, it's always work for
It is.
most adult men. I mean, it
Yes.
goes back to what we were talking about a couple podcasts ago, trying to balance everything, and we'll go into that in a minute. But
Yeah.
so work was really good at the beginning of the week, and then got really bad, and now it's kind of going back to a little bit of good, and then to ugly. And so it's just kind of all across the spectrum right now. I'm in real estate, as everybody knows, and so the interest rates are super duper killing everybody right now. I mean, the payments are through the roof for everything they try and buy. The costs of housing has gone way up, and so it's going to be an ongoing battle that we'll have to deal with for who knows how long. But
Yeah.
just
Well,
one of those things.
first of all, it's pretty amazing that you were able to make it through the ordeal that you did with your
Yeah.
heart, and because we thought that you were
Praise God.
kind of
Yeah, I
knocking
mean,
on
I
death's
feel
door
so
there.
blessed. So, yep.
And you kind of had some internal eyes open to some
Yeah.
things in your life,
Yep.
and you got to go through learning how to be still and quiet for yourself while laying there, and some friends coming and consoling and comforting with you, and then just your recovery process has been pretty amazing too,
Yeah.
to observe from afar. The people in the town that know you and knew what you went through. So that's a testimony in and of itself.
It was ugly.
That you're coming through. You came through. It was ugly, and God had better ideas and different plans for you than what you thought at that moment. So
Thank goodness. My kids, I've got some young ones that really still need me, so they need their dad at home.
oh yeah,
But anyway, yeah. So that's been my quest, but and it's in a nutshell. There's so much more to it than that. I could devote probably a whole couple podcasts to everything that went on with all that. But it's not something I super duper like to revisit, and talk about all the time. I think about it sometimes from time to time, and I'm like, man, about a year ago, life was nowhere near what it is right now. So, so yeah, I'm very, very happy, feel very blessed to be here and be able to hang out with you and be with my family and all that good stuff. So,
yeah.
What about you? How was your week?
Unfortunately, it feels very, very normal anymore, and the new norm apparently is pins and needles for things that you wouldn't normally think you need to be on pins and needles for. I think I need a sip of beer before I finish this sentence.
Yeah, I was just tasting that. Ooh,
How is it?
wow,
Is it strong?
that's a hit. Well, you tell me what you think.
I got to make it through all this foam with my mustache.
Yeah. It has a really good nose. I mean, I love the nose. That's my favorite part about IPAs is I love the nose because I love the smells. Really hard hit up front. Kind of rough in the middle.
Yeah, that's really bold.
Mm-hmm.
bold in almost like a sour way, not a bitter way, but
Yeah.
if sour were, if you could differentiate sour and bitter. And then my aftertaste right now, as I'm breathing through my mouth and talking, is almost dry,
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much on the head.
woody pine almost.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's almost like you're drinking a pine tree,
Which is what
a,
everybody already
a,
says anyways
a young
about,
pine tree. Yeah,
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 go lick the sap off the bark of a pine tree,
yep, yep.
suck on some needles.
That pretty much hits it on. I like it though.
I don't know,
You
it's
I,
not as like Pine Sol as
right.
most IPAs are, but this has like a dustier, smokier bitterness to it. That's why I said dry.
I'm almost embarrassed to even give my take on this, Aaron, because you're so eloquent with the way you describe beers. But you're hitting it right on the head with everything that I'm tasting. I mean, it's the same thing here.
Well, as that warms up a little bit and as we talk, I have a feeling we're going to need another beer.
Yeah, I don't know if a half a beer is going to be able to. We might be able to make it a little bit.
Maybe we'll crack open that other one that we've already had on the show before. So,
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
my week. Without naming names and without dropping where I currently work, because that's just not as professional as it could be, but the company that I work for is struggling financially. So much so that we are still waiting for funds to clear in order for payroll to be granted from last week's pay. So I'm without, yet again, the stress of not knowing that there's any money in the company's coffers to pay wages is incredibly high.
Yeah.
And yet, okay, so that was the bad. How about some good? I don't remember if I said this to you this week or last week, but I did get a call. I think I texted you, but I did get an email and a call from the job interview that I had in the early part of October out at INL. And I was called to set up an appointment, and that is next week on Tuesday.
That's great.
For an interview with the director of MFC. So it's just a 30-minute call. So I think that means that that's final and a final interview and potentially a job offer. Or if I really screw up, thanks, goodbye.
Yeah, I
and
doubt
be all
that'll
done.
happen. I doubt that'll happen.
But
you do great.
I have to be resolute, and I also have to be prudent and be confident enough to say, yeah, I think that this will be a really good thing for me, and I think that it's going to happen. But at the same time, not
It's
get
hard
too
to be that
excited
way.
about it, and just be like, all right, if it happens, it happens.
Well,
now,
and let's face it, you've been through the mill with this kind of stuff, and
Yep.
so it's like, and so have I. And it's like when you get tenderized so many times throughout your life, it's finally like. It's like I was in the hospital. Not to bring that up again. It's like I was in the hospital last year.
life lessons.
I was sitting in the hospital. I have friends and people ask me all the time, "Did you pray all day? What would you do?" No, I didn't. What I said was, "Whatever you want," because this is where it's at.
Yep.
You know, and I think you get that way. I think life just kind of tenderizes us and makes us finally just say, "You know what? It's what you want. That's what's important." So
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
that there's I don't necessarily think that this needs to be an entire conversation, but it can be very well. Could be something that can help a lot of other people. I mean, this is heavy stuff. Like when you really think about being a husband and a father in today's economy with the politics that we've talked about several times already in previous shows,
Yeah.
it's really hard to be alive right now. It's really hard to be positive right now.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be inspired and motivated and confident. It's really hard to just be anything other than depressed. And I don't want to use that word depressed because I don't think that my mental health is necessarily struggling. It's really about the circumstances that are around us
Mm-hmm.
and how we deal with those circumstances.
Yeah.
And to your comment about really taking it a lot over my lifetime, it's a very true statement. I mean, and fortunately, I've been able to, even today, just talking with one of my employees who's on my team. He's not really my employee, he's a company employee, but he's under my care. Um, the marketing and advertising side of it, he's the videographer and photographer. Amazing, amazing work. I just love his stuff. But he's a basket case right now too.
Yeah. Well,
And he's a little younger than I am, has a younger family than I have, hasn't been through the things that I've been through. And so I kind of took the moment and just trusted God and said, okay, I'm going to swallow my own for a minute, but I have to tell him that I understand. So I shared with him, I was like, buddy, you're telling me all this stuff. We talk once, twice, maybe even 3 times a day over the past several days, and this is not the first time that this has happened, but I just want you to know that I'm hearing you and I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but let me just tell you that I'm just as stressed out as you are.
yeah.
But my responsibility, or whether it is self-imposed or it's granted to me with my job title, is I'm trying to be strong for you and for your other coworker that's on our team. Trying to be strong and say, yeah, I'm going to communicate with the boss. I'm going to make sure that you guys are taken care of. I'm going to be the liaison between you and
Yeah.
the owner. And
this isn't a slouch company either. This isn't like a mom and pop's little tiny thing. This was pretty big at one time, right?
Yes and no. I mean, we had upwards of 15 employees at one time, maybe 20, but they were part-timers, ins and outs, all those kinds of things. I think that the company had this appearance of being larger than it really was.
Okay.
And in some respects, I'm part of that because that's what my entire job is
Sure.
to give a visual presentation of the existence and the prevalence and the dominance
Look at
of
those
a company.
beautiful logos back on the screen behind you there.
Yeah, even that's my role, is to make you
Yeah.
look as if you've been around for forever. And unfortunately, there were some decisions that have been made outside of our control that have caused all of us to be in a really bad spot. So
Yeah.
I told him that, hey man, I've been there. So the if I can give you any comfort or advice, is do your work even though you haven't been paid yet, because you're still employed here. This is your vocation.
Yeah.
Granted, we have some other things we need to talk through and work through if it gets to that, there's only another week left of that according to labor laws. But right now, we're being asked to perform some things, and a lot of what we provide actually helps get out of certain crunches, I guess you could say, just to be as polite as I possibly can. Whether that's a small company or a large company, whether that's an outside influence or an internal decision that's been made, it's usually up to marketing advertising to help bring awareness to the company so that sales can then close deals.
Right.
So I told him, like, let's just keep doing this, put in a solid 100% for a couple hours every day.
Yep.
But because we haven't been paid, our contract is sort of void and broken right now. We have leeway to search for other things. So don't let this define who you are. Don't let your identity be in the fact that you don't have a paycheck.
You're right.
Remember who you are. Remember what you do. Remember your confidence and your boldness. I have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that when you are applying to a new job, you're not coming to their table as a victim.
You don't want to come across because you wear it. I mean, if you're feeling a certain way, I really am bad for this. I wear it. If I'm in a bad mood, if I'm angry, if I'm sad, if I'm whatever, I'm wearing it. And so That's hard. That's good advice.
These are things that I've learned over all these years of having been kind of punched in the gut a million times.
Yep.
I can probably count a good 6 or 7 times when I've been under or unemployed in my life.
Yeah.
And that's not anything I ever wish on any human being.
No.
And I'm not the one that's going to just say, that's it, I give up. I'm going to go push a grocery cart around and hold my thumb out waiting for people to just toss me change. I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah.
I also don't have the tools and resources to just do the exact opposite of that poverty mindset and turn myself into these people that become rich overnight because they did some internet venture, although I'm looking into that to see what I can do.
Sure.
To figure out what it is that's
always keep
affiliate marketing and, hoping that a blog or a podcast or something like this just takes off overnight. And things that we say help other people navigate through this situation that we all find ourselves in. I mean, and that's really the heart and soul of why I named it Blue Collar American, is because we're just the average Joes. We're the guys that make America great.
Yeah.
We're the ones that
everything turns around
create
because of us.
the economy. And when we're being told to sit down, shut up, and just be okay with that.
Sit down, shut up, work, and that meme you sent me the other day said it best. It's like the government's never around.
No.
They're not here. They're never around us. They don't get up with us in the morning. They don't get ready for work. They don't go to work with us. They're not there when we're building our widgets or whatever it is that we're doing, working on our marketing stuff, doing real estate in my case.
Yeah.
But the second that check comes, they're right there with their hand out.
And not just their handout, they start telling you what to do. They're telling you that they deserve a certain percentage of it, that they are the ones that now get to invade all your other financial interests, and there's no more privacy. And if you don't, then we're going to send you to jail.
We're going to send you to jail. We're going to take all your property. We're going to, it's terrible.
Ruin your marriage, ruin your family, ruin any reputation that you might have.
And it's not just the money you owe them either. If you're late, you get penalties, interest, stacked on daily, all the way until you pay them. It's really,
what's the guy's name from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I want to say Kiyosaki.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I just saw another post right alongside the same one that you're talking about, and we probably could just put links to these 2 posts in our show notes as well. But basically, he's saying that taxes is a Marxist idea.
Yeah.
And our nation was not founded upon tax. We were actually a tax-free nation. Remember the Tea Party?
Yeah.
It was about no taxation without representation.
Taxation without representation, right?
It wasn't until years and years and years later that a socialist Marxist agenda started rolling in, and the idea of a government structure telling people what they can and can't do, instead of allowing them, which is what our Constitution originally laid out for, is self-discipline, self-government, order and structure amongst oneself, government at the smallest level. And that really starts at home.
And there's certainly
it starts with self, and then it starts with your marriage, and then it continues to your family, and you have a little organization that has its hierarchy and its structure, and everyone plays their role, and everyone has their part, and they have responsibilities, but they also have benefits for performing those responsibilities. And then it's, as I was taught by my father-in-law and my father, concentric circles as they go out into society. So you start with self, and it goes all the way to global, and everything in between. So, sorry, little mini tangent, but still very relevant.
It's relevant. It's so relevant.
Here.
Yeah.
And so the concept of all of us going to work every single day just so that we can pay our taxes, because it gets taken first before we ever get to say anything about it. It's gone. And for some of us, it's anywhere between 23 and nearly 49% of our income. And we're not even a quote-unquote socialist in government
they got me for
other
a while
countries.
last year. Yeah, I got surprised on my taxes last year. So, you know that. I told you that. It's just and really set me back.
So, all that having been said, and we could go and go and go, but I don't think that people really want to hear us continuing to complain about how we're being taxed too much.
It's hard.
However, maybe we need to continue it, and maybe we need to be researching this and digging into it further. There are some other things that I've been sent. I won't bring those up at this moment, but there are things and organizations and people afoot who are saying that there's ways not just around it, but legally and constitutionally to resist it. So I'll
Yep.
do some more research and dig into that because it's important. Because the reason why we went down that little path, and for those of us and those of you watching, why does Aaron keep, why does Paul keep talking about government, politics, the economy,
It affects us all.
taxation?
It affects us all.
It 100% affects us all.
Yeah.
And all of us are still going to work tomorrow morning
Yeah.
in hopes of making the next couple of bucks so that we can live this happy life that we thought was what we're supposed to be doing. And yet we're just rats in cages right now.
Right now, yeah. We have been for a long time, if you think about it. I mean, we really have.
Yes.
And
So all that having been said, is it's because of the fact that I can't even pay my taxes right now because I don't have a paycheck this week.
right.
Like, and that's, I don't want to pay my taxes, but my point is that I want to feed my family. I want to make sure that they've got shoes on their feet still.
Heat.
And
We're coming into winter.
Make sure
You know.
that the house is warm, and I can go on and on and on. I can get deeper and deeper, and
They're ruthless with that kind of stuff too. You know, you don't pay your power bill, and it doesn't matter. They show up, they turn it off. It's
Yep.
gone. And I mean, that's the way it is for everybody. I was showing a house just a couple weeks back, and power guy showed up to the house I was showing, and he knocked on the door, and I was like, yeah, just showing the house. I thought he was another realtor going to show up behind me, and yeah, I'm just showing the house. Be like 5 more minutes, and he says, no, I'm here to shut the power off. And I says, okay, can you give me 5 minutes? He says, I'll give you 2. And I was like, okay.
wow.
And so I'm showing the house. We're walking through the house. I'm trying to point things out. I'm like, guys, we might have an advantage on this one because the power is getting shut off. I mean, I hate to sound that way. It's not. It's actually not funny. But it's the circumstances and how they happened are funny to me. But they're like, oh, okay. 2 minutes went by exact. I watched my watch at that point. I'm like, because he's like 2 minutes. So I started watching my watch, and sure enough, 2 minutes went by. Power shut off, and he was gone. And I was like, okay, well,
Wow.
that's,
Yeah, and
but it just goes to show you.
cities and states like where we live right now, if you don't have any power, you don't have a heater on. So
No.
if you don't have a wood burning fireplace like I happen to still have,
Yep.
you're going to be cold.
You're going to get cold,
You're gonna have
and
to
your
get
kids
out.
are going to get cold. This house I was showing was full of little kids, too. There was diaper pails around, and cribs, and
Was it a foreclosure then? Do you think?
no, they lived there. They lived
They
there.
just weren't able to keep up on their payments
Just,
for everything.
yeah, well,
That's
I mean, I
sad.
don't know, but that's kind of makes you wonder, their power got shut off. So if they can't afford their power bill, maybe they did just make their mortgage payment. I don't know. But sad deal. And I guess my whole point with that is, though, it touches us all. I mean, these rules and regulations and everything that we all have to deal with on a daily basis, and all the money that gets taken out of our pockets to be used on. Well, I won't go into that because that'll be a whole nother podcast too. But the taxes that we give are supposed to be used to secure and protect us. And I mean, that's, if we're gonna get right down to the brass tacks of everything. I mean, in the beginning, it was for an infrastructure. We needed roads, dams. I mean, buildings, government facilities, things like that. And that stuff we have to share in paying for. I get it. But when you start paying for magic unicorn studies and, whatever else is
No,
out
I mean,
there,
you're
we've all
absolutely
heard
right.
about
We're
them.
saying it a little exaggerative because it's that ridiculous, but it really is
Yeah.
truly what they're putting their money and funding towards. And then
Yeah.
to be insulted above all of that is to see not just thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands, but not just hundreds or thousands of hundreds of millions, but now into the billions of
Oh.
dollars going to other countries, and we're literally it's our money. It literally is our tax money going away, and our infrastructure, not just at the local level, but also nationally, is literally falling apart.
Yeah.
And we're the disgrace and we're the laughing stock of the entire world, where we used to be the place, we used to be the pinnacle of society.
We were
is
just
come
talking
to
about
United
this with
States.
California the other day.
Yeah, we were.
People don't like California nowadays. I mean, it's, but there was, for most of California's history, I mean, that's where the whole world wanted to flock to. That's where the whole world wanted to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's how things change, But we were just
Yeah,
talking
New
about
York,
this.
New York and California all
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a lifestyle
New
that
York
people
was a
wanted.
beacon of hope
Yeah.
for the whole world. It was
For
a beacon of
business and
freedom,
finance, and then
immigration,
California and
yeah,
immigration. Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Just-
California for lifestyle, for originally the gold rush, but then Hollywood, and so trends and then it became commerce as well. But
Trends, fashion,
it's beautiful
commerce,
to live there.
agriculture. People don't realize California is still the king of agriculture in our country. And people have no idea that. They don't think that, I mean, it's when they think California, they think Hollywood, they think big cities, they think
And
beaches.
beaches.
Yeah. But it's so much more than that,
It really is.
And they're getting taxed to oblivion too. P.S. By the way,
Oh, they are.
the farmers are barely making it over there.
And the truckers don't even want to go
No.
out there anymore because of all the regulation on them.
Yeah. It's
I mean, my neighbor across the street is a trucker, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll go to California because nobody else is, but I get dinged hard
oh yeah,
for it financially." And
almonds
and
will
then
be
there's-
$20 a pound before you know it.
Jeez.
Because that's where they're all grown.
Mm-hmm.
Californians, the almond and avocado and orange and apple.
Yeah,
And no,
citrus.
Washington's still apples, I guess. But
Yep.
I mean, there's so
All the
many
citrus.
things.
Mm-hmm. Strawberries.
Yeah. And so it's just think about how much all that stuff's going to go up in price if they keep it up, because somebody's got to absorb the cost. The truckers can't absorb it. They've got their equipment to take care of, and they got to keep up on all the regulations that are on them now. Think about the providers. I mean, the farmers and all the people that support them. They've
This is where people misunderstand what true capitalism is.
Yeah,
Capitalism is in essence, to summarize it, it's competition. And when there is no competition, because monopolies are allowed to take over, and they are able to take advantage of loopholes in the government's broken system of, therefore, taxation and regulations, etc., then they rise to the top, and then they control the rest. And so then that's when all of the extreme groups start to riot and push and say that, this one company or that one company is the root of all evil, and so therefore we deserve to destroy their buildings from the outside, and
what kills me
riot,
about that,
but
Aaron?
It's
what kills me about all this is that there's one half of our government that supports that. They support the rioting, the looting, and I'm sorry, they support the peaceful protesting.
oh my gosh,
as the fireballs are going in the background.
air quotes.
Yeah, but they support all that. But yet they're the ones that put the most regulation on our diesels, our trucks, our truckers, to haul our food, our goods. There's nothing, if you guys stop just for a second, take a look around you, and just anywhere, look around you, what you're sitting at, what you're wearing, what you're eating, anything. What has not come to us from trucking? And that's the most heavily regulated industry in the world.
Yep.
Because of the climate change agenda,
Another set of air quotes.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly where I was
Then
going
they
with
support
this
all
point.
this, peaceful protesting that tears it down.
It's just the most asinine and backwards philosophy and thought process that there is. And yet, if they would just stop and stop trying to overlord and stop trying to control and stop trying to regulate everything and let true competition come in, then prices will drop down, because you can't be the highest guy because nobody can afford that. So you got to compete. That's why healthy capitalist society is beneficial for all of us.
Yes.
Because competition keeps things regulated.
Look at this beautiful heart pill I'm taking. It's like, that's an awesome heart pill. And it works. It's saving people's lives. I mean, it's saving my life right now. I'm taking a heart pill that's saving me. Well, that heart pill, when it first came out, costs $3,000 a month. Without
Wow.
insurance or anything for me to take
Jeez.
it, okay? So without competition coming in and saying, hey, we'll make a generic one of those. And it can work with anything. I mean, it can be widgets. It can say, oh, this is a nice glass. This is the best glass in the world. Well, everybody starts buying these glasses because they're the best in the world. So eventually the price is going to do what? It's going to start going up on these glasses. Or that pill because it's saving lives. If you didn't have competition, you'd never have price reductions ever. I mean, these competitors come in and they make the next best pill, they make the next best glass. Then they've got competition, and I realized that for the owner of that glass maker, it's not the greatest, it's not ideal because they want all the money. I have this funny joke. Wyatt came up to me, he says, "Dad, I want a balloon from the mall." And Thomas walks up and he says, "Daddy, he wants all the balloons from the mall." That's the way human nature is. That's the way it works. We want to be the most powerful, but that competition. I guess my whole point is that competition coming in and rubbing shoulders with the other competitors out there. It drives the price down. It's better for the consumer. It's better for you and I. It allows us to live. So when you start monopolizing and you start price fixing and stuff like that, that's when problems come in. And the government enables that.
And not just enables it, but we've used this word monopoly. I mean, granted, everybody wants to be the so successful that they start a company and it grows so much, and is so successful that it becomes the cream of the crop. It's the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
Government shouldn't be the one that tells that company that they can't be a monopoly.
Yeah.
So there's the flip flop. The monopoly just means they're the only one.
Yep.
Well, if that guy buys up everything, it makes it difficult. So then in a system where greed has run,
Mm-hmm.
then there becomes a monopoly. But if we were self-governed and we were self-disciplined as an entire population,
Yeah.
not just a few select folks blowing the whistles all the time, that the leadership of said company would say, you know what, we're not actually the best product that there could be. Because not just competition for finances, but competition for technology, competition for advancement is what has made our entire society what it is to this day. Take technology, for
Innovation.
example. That's the word,
Yeah.
innovation. Take cell phone technology, and we were talking about
That's
this
why these
last time.
communist countries will never catch us, as long as we don't become a communist country.
Well, we're right
You know what
there.
I'm
We're
saying? No,
knocking
I
on the
mean,
door.
that's what's held them off. That's what's held them at bay all
Yeah.
these years. They're not innovative. They're not self-governed. They don't have the freedom to go out and design their own things and do their own stuff like we do here.
Right.
We're the idea people, and we have been for the world since our inception.
And we want to keep being that.
Yes.
Because otherwise, this is a boring place to be, and there's nowhere else
We
to
wouldn't
be.
have these.
No.
We wouldn't have this right now.
No.
I mean, we just wouldn't. We're the ones that came up with, all that innovative stuff.
Right.
Computers and, yeah. Anyway.
And then it expands and people make it better and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
that's the whole story why philosophers talk about the Wright brothers and the airplane. And
Yeah.
is that they came up with it and it didn't go very high and it didn't go very fast, nor did it go very far. But then they challenged themselves again and they challenged themselves again. And then the next guy saw
doing
it
it.
and tried to help being a part of it or start his own thing. And that's really what ingenuity and innovation is supposed to be, is to say, hey, I can make this idea better,
Mm-hmm.
and then come into competition with the guy who started it. And then if that guy had character, then he wouldn't be like, that guy's trying to take my whole business. He'd be like, instead, it should be, ooh, now what can I do?
Yep.
Now what can I do to one-up it? And you keep working together and across multiple levels of competition, not just two people or two companies,
Yes.
but allowing for...
And as that ratchets, it keeps going up. There's more innovation.
And it benefits everyone,
Yes.
because then it encourages somebody else to be like, wow, look at those guys. They started from nothing and now they're there.
Prices go down.
And I've got this
products
great
get
idea,
better. Yeah.
and I want to support the process of this capitalistic society.
Yeah.
The miseducated assume that capitalist means to capitalize on somebody else's success. That's the wrong definition.
It very much so is.
You
Yeah.
Capitalism is, in its simplest form, see a need, fill a need, and continue improving.
Yep.
Always improving.
And get paid. You know.
I mean,
see
that's
a
the
need, fill a
ultimate goal.
need, get paid. Yeah.
Absolutely.
People should be rewarded for what they do. That's positive for society. I mean, if you did something for my family that was very helpful and really helped my family be a family, I would want you to be rewarded for that.
Right.
And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. This mentality of take from the rich and give to the poor is so backwards from what it's supposed to be. I mean, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand the frustration. We work, we toil, we have a hard time, we do everything we can. And for some of us, it's just not going to happen. I get it. But that doesn't mean that you take what somebody has worked for and has earned and give it to somebody else. It's just not going to work.
No, because that person, whether they were born into it or not, is none of our business. It's not our place to say that they aren't allowed to have the fruits of their labors because I don't have it.
Right. That's
and
right.
Vice versa. You should be in poverty because I'm in poverty.
Is there going to be some jealousy there? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's human nature. These are the things that we have to fight within ourselves to control, you know.
Therefore, the self-discipline, the self-government,
Yeah.
the character of one's self to say, hey, this just isn't my lot in life. My lot in life is this. Mm-hmm. And that's to then break it down into the changing of one's mindset into not comparing oneself to everyone all the time, but rather to see the things that you've got here, to be satisfied with what you have, for one. Yeah. For two, to be grateful for the things that you have. And this is how we even started the show off, just you recognizing that you're placed on the hospital bed while your ticker was starting to slow down.
I always put it this way.
To be grateful for it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So to be satisfied with what I have, I'm not...
It's a hard word.
It is. I'm not satisfied with what I have per se, but I'm grateful and I'm blessed for what I have. And so I want to, but I always want to strive for more. I think that's important. I think we should want to strive for more. Because if we don't, then there's other problems involved. Then that could go into a whole slew of things, but so I've heard that term before, be satisfied with what you have, and I am, but at the same time, I'm more grateful and feel blessed for what I have. I want to go for more, because I can help more people if I do, you know? So it's the why behind the what. And
well, at the same time, though, too, you got to make sure that, you just touched the semantic of it. Satisfaction doesn't mean settling.
Yeah.
Satisfaction means gratitude beyond.
Right. To some people, I think. To me, I have such a hard time with that word. I think maybe it's because I got told that so much my whole life. Just be satisfied with where you're at and shut up.
But then again, I think that's a brokenness to the word.
It could be.
And therefore misused and
very true.
And rubs you the wrong way.
Very true.
I'm not at all dismissing what you're saying.
That's a good
I was
point,
told
though.
the same thing too. It's like, just be satisfied with the 2 peas and half a spoonful of mashed potatoes on your plate because that's all you got. Be satisfied. Yeah. Well, yes, they're absolutely right, but they're also absolutely wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
In that,
that's a good point.
Grateful for what you have because somebody worked hard to put that on your plate. Even if it wasn't you, then it was somebody else who did it.
Yeah.
But satisfaction means
right down to the person that took it out of the field.
This is the very thing that I need for right now. So therefore, satisfaction for what it is. Then there's aspiration for doing better. And that's where the innovative and the ingenuity and the true character of what God put into our hearts and minds is to not settle and not be complacent or mediocre, but rather to continue striving for more.
That's a good point, yeah.
So I'm not at all trying to belittle the statement of be satisfied.
No. Yeah.
I just think that so many so many people, and I'm not including you
This
in
is
this
where I'd love
statement.
to hear from our audience too. What do you guys think? Tell us what you think. I'd love to see some conversation about some of this stuff, because I mean that's important too. You're right. You're hitting it right on the head. I mean, everybody has kind of their own idea behind words and what they mean to them, and so and some of it does come from brokenness. Some of it does come from
Well, and I
you know
think that that was a very micro example, but then you blow it up to macro, and what's going on in our entire nation right now is
yeah
we said it in our first or second show, the miseducation and
yeah
therefore the ignorance of people
yeah
who now act on their ignorance, which is the wrong way to do it, but they're acting on it. And the whole destroying of history, not treasuring history and recognizing that there were some wrong things being done, but that there
yeah
were also right things being done. And so when you set a monument to your history, that's an ancient thing. You resurrect a monument to remind yourself of, don't go back to this error, or remember this is where something great happened.
yeah.
That's all that a statue is.
Yep.
That's all that a monument is.
Either way,
And
we can
yet,
build from it. We can build for the better. We can build for the worse. I mean,
correct.
you know.
And yet, when you've got these masses of people destroying property, first of all, it's not their property, it's somebody else's property. So that's one wrongdoing.
Yeah.
But secondarily, tearing it
Which is
down and
usually the
saying we
case.
shouldn't be allowed to have the statue of this, XYZ person because what they think stood for
Yep.
something. I mean, they were even defacing Abraham Lincoln
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and his statue, and I'm just like, really? He was the epitome of everything that you are standing on in order for you to be able to say it.
I mean,
he
yeah.
was he was the one who broke those barriers of slavery.
Our whole fallible system has put us where we're at right now, and we've led the way, whether the world likes it or not. We've led the way for the world for a long time now.
Through brokenness comes success. You have to
Yes.
break. That's the same model with working out, is you
Yep.
break down your muscles
So
to
they
build them
build
back
themselves
up
back up stronger. Yeah.
stronger.
And we're broken down.
Oh yeah.
I haven't worked out for a whole year
That's why
since
I
before
hate
the
going to the
hospital.
gym, because I can't
It's
handle
like,
that pain.
oh man, yeah, it's gonna be rough. Day 2 is always the worst too. So we did chest last night. So we went on the treadmills for a while, and then we did chest, just the
Who's
light
we?
chest. We're Jonathan and I.
Oh, good.
So
Good. Your son.
Jonathan's getting back into it too. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Boy, we went full circle. And
We
I love it.
did. I know it. I know, and we always do. That's the beauty of this. It really is. So what are we at for time? Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Ran
told
right
you.
away from us again.
And we were concerned that we wouldn't have anything to talk about, which is every week.
Yeah.
I even had gone online, and this is something that I didn't even need to list, but I went online and I used ChatGPT, and I said, what are some of the issues that men in today's economic and sociological climate deal with? And it gave me a list, and we actually touched on quite a few of them already
Yeah.
without having to say, like, finances.
ChatGPT says this. We were going to use that. We were going to say, we went on ChatGPT. We did something different today, and just, I don't think we needed to. So, but no, it's fun. That's part of the fun of this. Just getting some thoughts out, and hopefully it's helping somebody else. And by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, guys, because and hit the little bell too, so that you're notified when we do a new podcast.
Yeah, it
That'll
really
help.
helps us out, but it also really helps you out if you like what we're saying and or you feel like sharing it to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the way that all of these platforms use the system, is that when you share it, it means that there's validity to what we're saying and or validity to our show not being anything that's fake. And it actually is something, part of our goal is to be able to continue growing in our technology and in our opportunities to spend more time on this. We've even I learned today that there was an error with the way that the file uploaded last week. And so I re-uploaded
Yeah.
it today. Only 20 minutes of it was there. I don't even know why. I don't know what happened, but hopefully it's all there now. And we're going to work hard on making that happen this time, making sure that it's up and clear.
Yeah.
And also, we do really like to hear your opinions. Again, constructive criticism or opinions that help grow thought and grow our knowledge opportunities and for yours as well. We're not here to rub anybody the wrong way. We're not intending to hurt anyone by just us sharing the
Have us
things
all grow together
that we go
healthily,
through.
you know?
Yeah, we want to grow with you guys.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think that, really big dreams would be to kind of take the show on the road, so to speak.
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to
I think it'd be fun.
to have conversations with other people, not just in studio, but also just go out and about. And we don't have the technology to make that happen right now. Well, maybe we do. Walk around with these little
Yeah, I
selfie
guess we could
sticks.
walk around with them. We can get one of those big old selfie lights that you get.
Yeah, the big ring lights or whatever those
Little
things
rings
are.
in our eyes. You can't see my eyes anyway, though. You can't see my eyes or my teeth. I'm not an eye or a toothy person. I kind of walk around like this all the time.
Well, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching our show. And again, like, share, subscribe, and
Please.
let other people know about it. If you got other comments, please share those with us as
Very
well.
important, yeah.
Until next time, I'm Aaron.
Now, Paul.
See you next time.
Okay.